everybody. I'm Robert Donovan. Welcome to this episode of Tradecraft Solutions. We're talking about debt reduction in this series. In this last video, we talked about paying off debt by targeting the loan with the highest interest rate first, known as the debt avalanche, and the pros and cons of that approach. In this video, we're going to take on its biggest competition, paying debts off in order of lowest to highest principal balance first. This was popularized by Dave Ramsey as the debt snowball. Calculations are on the screen and in the description below. Your basic debt snowball is you arrange your debts in order of lowest to highest unpaid balance and ignore the interest rates. You apply the extra principal payments to the debt with the lowest balance first. You add the payment for each loan you pay off to the extra payment, and then add that higher extra payment to the minimum payment for the debt with the second lowest balance. Repeat until you are debt-free. The good. Paying off smaller balances gives you a small win early and a concrete reduction in the number of bills you pay each month. This is a major psychological boost for those who are financially overwhelmed. Anything that helps motivate you to commit to paying off debt is good. It does reduce current expenses as each of the smaller debts gets paid off. Paying off smaller balances first can reduce current expenses a little bit faster than paying highest interest rate first, depending on how your debts stack up. Paying smaller loans off quickly can free up money to pay off principal faster or deal with unexpected emergencies. It is a good option if most of your debt is fixed payment, non-credit card debt, and you can only make small extra payments. That brings us to the bad part. And the big bad thing about this is that it can cost you thousands more in interest because it slows down the repayment of principal on higher interest loans. This generally makes it take longer and cost more to pay off your debts. It does expose you to greater risk of an unexpected expense or drop in income before you can pay the bigger debts off, particularly if that unexpected expense occurs near the beginning. This can easily derail the plan. And since smaller loans have the smallest minimum payments, the least reduction in expenses results for paying them off. That isn't necessarily a bad thing. It may be worth it if it buys you the greater peace of mind of knowing you have fewer bills. An emergency fund and budget are critical for low-income earners using this method because you really do have to have that emergency fund to avoid those emergency expenses derailing the plan. I do not recommend this method for credit cards or a line of credit debt, anything that's got a variable payment where the minimum payment goes down as the principal gets smaller. You're better off using highest interest rate first for those situations. One variation on this that I personally like to use is I will pay off the variable payment debt first to free up money quickly because the minimum payment goes down as you pay the extra payments. And then I'll do the fixed payment debts in order of lowest to highest balance. Costs more than a straight high-low interest rate technique, but it does provide a little bit greater flexibility with the fixed payment debt, particularly in situations where I wasn't able to make a very big extra payment. One thing you do want to keep in mind when considering whether to do the debt avalanche, which is to pay in order of highest to lowest interest rate, or the debt snowball, which is the lowest to highest balance approach, you want to look at if the difference between avalanche and snowball is small and the debt gets paid off in roughly the same time. It may be worth it using the debt snowball for peace of mind. As an example, got 4 more loans here, found this one on debt.org as well. With these 4 loans, the difference using Dave Ramsey's starting points between the debt snowball and the debt avalanche method was $309, and it took 19 months to pay off both loans. That equates to an average of $17 per month. So the question is it worth $17 a month to you if paying the debt snowball motivates you better, gets you less stress, more peace of mind, and gets you fewer bills sooner? Is it worth an extra $17 a month on average to get those things? And that brings us to the next method of paying off your debts in order of least to greatest emotional stress or annoyance that they cause you, which will be the subject of the next video. If you want to see the full debt reduction series, please click on the top right link. If you want to see the Tradecraft Solutions playlist and all the other topics we talk about in this show, click the bottom left link there. The third link over on the bottom right is what YouTube thinks you should be watching next. So we hope to see you in the next video, and until then, may the balance of your day be awesome.